So for this idea, I was thinking of doing a mixed media piece, like stop motion, and I wanted to film mainly in like the countryside and outside, and like focus on weather because I was looking at seasonal depression and how weather affects people's emotions.
I feel like with the mixed media you could do a really cool, with the sun going round, and you could do like a starry night, how the lines of the sun, I feel like you could do a really cool spinny one, and it can spin into like a dark black hole of like how like the worse of the weather, it causes like seasonal depression.
When you first said like about your idea to me, I thought like for some reason a person walking and then like the page is changing, like the different shots changing of him walking different seasons. Do you know what I mean? Like kind of like that. So it's also tracking. It's like different techniques. It's tracking and like stop motion. And I was also thinking you could do like a scrunching of a paper. When it like it could be a photo and you can scrunch it. Like when they're like depressed, you could be like and then it could like suddenly they could be happy, and it could like scrunch into a ball and like roll away and be like happy, like summery kind of thing.
Like you could do like flowers blooming
with like the paper,
and then the petals like falling off, and like a river, and you could do like a cool river stream of like a boat. Oh my god, you could introduce the sun, right? So the petals there, and then a petal falls off the flower and it turns into a drop which goes into a sea, and then there's a boat and it's goes down the stream, and then there's the sun. I just thought of that whole like.
But also like I was thinking, how would I like portray emotions in the sense of like my stop motion? Like how
voiceover?
I think I could do some sort of voiceover.
You could do like writing at the bottom,
like subtitles in like the newspaper, like,
or maybe like a poem.
Thought bubbles. Like the like little things, cloud.
Okay,
they could be the clouds, and you can write maybe in them.
Oh wait, that's actually
I'm trying to think, but obviously the weather, I think that's kind of obvious because it's like a metaphor for each emotion, and you could just like show the emotions on their face as well if you're like trying to show different things. Or you can make it like not obvious and just leave it to like the metaphor of the weather. I don't know.
And maybe like colour I could experiment with. I was thinking as well, like looking at like more science wise, like what actually happens in your brain, and I was thinking of doing some sort of stop motion
you could do
of someone's head, and then it would be like the inside of their brain and what's going on.
You could do wind, like brain chemistry waves.
Okay.
Or like sound waves. You can do wind, or like the sea and stuff. And then I feel like I was going to say you could introduce like some animals like in wildlife.
And who do you think my target audience would be?
Like kind of like our age group, like young
I feel
adults.
like it could be almost served as like a bit of like an educational like video, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it could be, like I think it would be for more like secondary school, like kids, and then sort of like educating them in a way.
Who do you think target audience?
I think like teenagers and young adults, because they're the most people. I think the people who I feel like talk about mental health the most and are the most understanding to it. Because if it was like targeted at like older people, they'd be like, oh, that's some of them still don't think it's true and stuff like that. But that's what I think.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. For my first idea, I was mainly looking at like the word change. So I was looking at how people handle change and why people can't handle it. Because there's loads of things that happen to people and they just like, freak out about it. Whether that's like to do with themselves or their environment or just like events that occur.
So I think if you were doing a short film, you could definitely incorporate like the butterfly effect. And
What's
like
that?
The butterfly effect is where like it's almost like a canon event. So say if something happens, so say if you didn't go out on a walk that one day, you wouldn't have got hit by a car and you wouldn't have died. So say it's like the knock-on effect, and so you could do like a split stage, sort of like split screen, and you could have like a girl walk out the house, the girl stays in the house, and she lives one more day, and then
that would
or
be
something
cool.
like that.
Like 2 movies happening. Okay, this would be very confusing. This is like kind of going off the topic of change.
No, that's okay.
But like, it would be cool. Like, it would be very confusing. But 2 movies happening on the same screen, and same girl. She just does one thing differently, and then the movies go totally different. That would be cool. I want that.
And it could merge.
Scenes,
It could then merge into one and show this direction that it happens in, and then the other direction that happens in.
The only thing is, you'll be trying to watch 2 things on this.
Yeah.
Although you could almost do like sort of like, this might sound really awful, but if you did it the right way, I think it could be really cool. You could almost do it like as if the girl's a simulation and like you're picking which way to go. So sort of like a live video game. You know, there's like Netflix films with like the video games, and it's like which way shall I go?
I want
she
this
goes
idea
this
now.
way, and then so she like it happens that way, but if she went the other way, this is what would have happened. And you can almost go back in time and retract and see what would have happened. Then that can like dilute into a storyline of like, say, her boyfriend cheating on her, or like her finding out that her mum's got cancer, or like just like some massive like event it can lead to, like it wouldn't have led to if she didn't do this certain one thing.
I mean, another route I was looking at putting yourself in different people's shoes and like perspective and changing people's perspective on things. So one idea I had was this guy or woman, either or, puts on a pair of shoes and they wake up in a completely different environment, and they go about their day, meet these people and that know them, but they don't know who they are, if that makes sense. And at the end of the day, they want to take the shoes off and go back to their old life, but in reality, that is their life, and it's like the whole thing is that they've got dementia.
If you were going to go down that route, I think if you wanted to like make it comedic, you can almost do like a Freaky Friday take, where like 2 people swap.
Yeah.
If you're doing it about perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they wake up and they're in like someone else's.
I think that would be really funny, especially if you did like weird roles.
Yeah.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah. Another idea I had was like getting older, which kind of relates to change, but it's like old age and like changing over time. So
you could do something quite cool with that. You could like do like 3 generations.
generations is a topic
you could
that
do
someone...
like, I mean, they're the same person, but in each generation, their lives are totally different. Do you know what I mean? And just show really like the contrast.
So I was thinking of either doing, like, I wanted to try and experiment with stop motion.
I don't know how you do that. How do you do that?
It's like picture
It's
capture shots.
taking photos, but I'd like draw on them as well. Instead of like creating it just by drawing, I would obviously film and then cut each shot into something and film. And I was thinking either like changing over time, whether that be like...
That would be really cool in stop motion. To be
Yeah, in stop motion. So running out of time, being late or like being early to something.
You could do the perception that like time, that like you could do the like time's evil and it takes things away from you, but actually in reality time gives you what is being taken
That's
away.
what I was saying in my last one. Like, it literally takes what it gives. Like, it's so you like hate it, but if you didn't have it, like
You wouldn't hate
you
it.
wouldn't have anything.
But
do you
then
know
you
what
could
I mean?
also like see that as being a bit of a game, and that's evil anyway. Because why would you take away something that like
Exactly.
you could have just never had in the first place?
Yeah.
For stop motion, you could do like really cool things with that. Like, I don't know how you do this, to be honest. This would be quite tricky. But like, you could have like someone going throughout the day, but as they're going throughout the day, like they're getting older. But like that would be really hard to do. So I don't know.
Like, I mean, it could be even drawing or
Yeah.
colour.
Focus on like things that change.
Things that change or like get mouldy or like...
Yeah,
But it could be
mould.
like loads of different things
You
in
could like do
one.
mold decay, stuff like that. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
growing older, like
I
your
did that
hair
for my
growing
art
or like...
project,
That's what I did,
mold
mould.
decay, like future past. Do you know what I mean? That'd be cool.
Prejudice. So, again, with perception and change, I was thinking of like objects and like the stories that they have, because people buy things like secondhand or like from
Toy
wherever.
Story.
and
get
like,
inherited
the,
them,
like,
and they
journey
don't.
it's gone on.
The journey that the objects had, or like
These are all
the story about it,
Or like a
because
teddy
people don't appreciate like the meaning of certain objects, I guess.
Yeah, you could do like, I mean, have we moved on from change now, or is this still?
It could still relate.
A visual aspect, you could do like a time lapse of like
Yeah.
the teddy's experience with like, say it was first given to a child in like 1953, and then like it got passed over to like
Yeah, you could do
a
it from
teenager.
black and white
Yeah,
to like
exactly.
Modern day.
to like a 2000s-y kind of look to like
Yeah, that would be
of
cool.
like an object, any object to be honest.
And one more thing was also prejudice of like things, not like judging a book by its cover, but like, for example, like the story behind someone's front door. Like everyone you look and see people's front doors, but like you can't see past it until you go in.
Such cool idea.
Or like wearing people's like shoes or like their clothes.
Yeah,
you
I
don't
wanna do this.
you don't actually know them or
Yeah, you could like
know what's
you could, like, walk
beyond
down the
those
street.
rules.
You could literally walk down the street, film all the doors, and then like behind each door you could do a snippet of their story. Like so one door, then a like scene, like literally one scene from like their lives inside the house. Then next, and they could all be really different. So like
and
arguing in love.
A really ugly like poor family. Not an ugly poor family, an ugly poor house looking, but
Run
like
down.
a really like.
It would be
nice,
so cool
loving
inside,
family.
Yeah, to like showcase like money does
Don't
not
judge
buy
a book by
happiness,
its
guys.
cover.
Yeah,
all you can
never
do-
done it with clients.
This isn't as good as the door idea, but like you know how like you could do like a house and like the walk, because everyone will like what the walls have seen. Do you know what I mean? And like a new family could
from
come
their
in,
perspective, from the
and then,
furniture's
like,
perspective.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what
You could show, like, for example, my old bedroom literally has like 6 layers of different paints throughout all of my, of like genuinely.
That
I
would
wish
be
you could
quite
take a
hard to
hacksaw.
fill.
You
to
can
it
literally,
and,
like,
genuinely
cut
get,
it.
like a chunk of like different colour, and the way that like your bedroom has experienced like
Changed.
trauma, anxiety, like happiness, sadness, like it's experienced it all, which is why I had to move downstairs. So.
like you could do like if you're focusing on like a wall. Okay, like this is like cringe, but like if someone like punched a wall or something, do you know what I
I've
mean?
got a
Just
punched
like
wall.
many things.
There you go.
And like you could do. My dad literally the other day we're like redoing our house a bit, like the downstairs area, and like we took the telly off the wall and like we took it off and like you could see all the different wallpapers we have like over the time, and they're all really similar, but they're all different. Do you know what I mean? And it shows like the different eras of like my mum's wallpaper
And
taste.
changing over time.
Yeah, exactly.
All these ideas are so cool to be honest. I don't know how you're going to narrow it down.